In this video, you're going to be taking a look at Padmé Amidala, based upon her appearance from the Battle of Theed in the Phantom Menace. So she ended up showing up a whole lot sooner than I originally anticipated. For the longest time, she was listed as not showing up for May or until May for me. But then a couple days ago, I ended up getting a notification that she was going to be in the mail basically tomorrow. And fortunately, she came through, and I've only had her opened up for a couple hours now at this point, and this is the first real look I've had of her. If you recall the press images that Hasbro released, it was all 3D rendered, and a lot of us were genuinely disappointed by it. It looked nothing like Padmé at all, didn't look anything like Natalie Portman, and I think the outfit kind of looked too skinny for her. Obviously, what we see here is not quite exactly what the 3D renders showed at the time, and most of the time that's usually how it is. That for some reason Hasbro's press images these days are just not very good, and then the action figure ends up turning out much better. But this action figure I'm actually much more impressed with than I originally planned for. I think it looks pretty close to Padmé. It's not 100% spot on, but it's pretty close. So she looks much younger here than she does in Attack of the Clones, which I do have the action figure right here. Her future self. Yeah, I'll put her on the stand here. But this is the second action figure of Padmé we've gotten in the Black Series line. At this point, technically, we have more action figures of Padmé in the Black Series than we do the Vintage Collection. Probably one of the biggest letdowns in the Vintage Collection. It's a shame that we don't have more Padmé Amidalas at this point, and no telling if we will get more. I do know that the Theed Battle Padmé was originally supposed to be in the TVC line, but I think it ended up getting moved to the 4-pack. The 4-pack of the movie sets back in like 2012 or 13, and it was severely not up to date for the TVC style. I think they just kind of cut some corners there and then released it as is. So hopefully at some point she does see the light of day in the Vintage Collection. I know a lot of people would like that. Same with this Geonosis Battle or Geonosis Droid Factory Padmé here. Both are very solid action figures, and if you could have a representation of Padmé, or if you can only have one representation, one of these two are probably the best samples or the preferred outfits that people would want. What else can I say about this? So like I said, just got her in the mail, just opened her a few hours ago, and so far very happy to have it. So let's go ahead and take a look at her package here first. We got Padmé Amidala, the Phantom Menace. They didn't even bother mentioning that the Battle of Theed anywhere on the package. We don't have too many Phantom Menace action figures, so it's nice to finally see some more in the line. There is a Phantom Menace Anakin that is being released soon, or he should be making his way right now, but for me, he's still showing up for May. Perhaps that will change in the next couple days, though. So we have an image of Padmé there. Looks pretty good. And have a little description about her. And this is figure number 3 for the Phantom Menace. That's about all I can say about the package. It is the windowed package, so that is here to stay now. And let's just go and take a look at this figure. So I think when the original press images came out of her, it almost looked like she had a coat instead, but it looks like in this case it's just a plastic skirt for her. I have to go back and look at those images, but that's what I recall it being like. So the head sculpt looks pretty good. Interesting thing is she does have that dot there, which is supposed to signify a mole, I guess, and Back on the Attack of Clones Padmé, she has that same thing there. At first I thought she had a spot on her cheek and thought, oh no, you know. And I do have this version of Padmé reviewed on the channel if you want to check that out. So the head sculpt looks pretty good. Photoreal turned out nice, the eyes look good, expression's good. Very stern expression. Her hair bun here is very extravagant, but looks pretty good. It is a separate piece. It has some nice details. Yeah, certain angles, it's definitely spot on the Padmé Amidala here. Time of this video, The Phantom Menace is allegedly hitting theaters again in May as part of the 25th anniversary. Might end up going to see that again. So for the rest of her outfit, it's pretty straightforward with the colors, but this golden color here for the bands, it's very nice. A little bit of a shine to it and a little bit reflective. It goes all the way down her outfit here. Wraps around her shoulders. Looks pretty good. It's entirely plastic and molded skirt here. Not much of a hindrance though. You can pretty much still get all the poses that you would want her in anyway. Her sleeves here are molded, which is nice in some ways, kind of a hindrance in others. It doesn't really flow very good, as you can see there, especially if you have her arms at like a 90-degree angle. And then her boots here, pretty straightforward. Articulation again is very straightforward, and unfortunately her her elbows go just slightly past 90 degrees, so not too bad. Other than that, there's really no unique articulation about her. She has very good waist articulation though. Can't ever even go all the way back like that, or crunch all the way forward. And she does have the pinless knees. So it's just one hinge there. Which is very nice. It's good for the aesthetic look of her. In terms of her weapons and accessories, she does have this is actually our very first Naboo blaster that we've gotten in the Black Series line, I think. And it looks pretty good. It looks just like a spot-on replica to the Naboo Royal Guards blaster that we got in the Vintage Collection years ago. It does have a little bit of that larger grip at the base of it. It's the scope there. The rest of the blaster, just a lot of dark grays and silvers on it. Or it has the two scopes actually. Looks pretty good, and she does, it is specifically for this hand, and she does hold it well in that hand. But she also does come with, I didn't really expect this at all, I'm glad Hasbro included it, an alternative hand for her signature pistol. Unfortunately, Hasbro neglected on the paint though. We know that it's usually much more detailed than that. I'm trying to think if it's the... yeah, it looks like it's basically the same exact blaster. But it is supposed to be... brown grip there, I think. Unless the pistol did change for her over the years, which is very possible. It does have a slightly longer barrel for the new one as well. And unfortunately, she does not have a holster for it, but I don't think she really I would have to go back and look, but I don't know if holster was really visible in the movie at all. And when it's in the package, this is considered the alternative hand that's packed to the side. She does have that silver belt buckle there, and the black band around. But other than that, it's pretty much all I can tell you about this Battle of Theed Padmé. So would I recommend her for your collection? I totally would. Between the two action figures here, I guess it comes down to your personal preference. I can't really say one is better than the other. Obviously, one's a slightly older version of Padmé than the other, and it is defined between the two action figures here. So, yeah, like I said, it's just down to your personal preference, but both are very solid action figures, welcome additions to the Black Series line. I'm happy to have this. I'm much more pleasantly surprised by this Phantom Menace Padmé than I originally thought I was going to be, and I'm happy to have it in my collection. Hopefully we get more in the future. I have heard lots of people wanting a Theed Palace Padmé or Queen Amidala, where she's all dressed up in the robes there. The red robes, probably her most iconic look for the Phantom Menace. And of course there's 500,000 other outfits that Hasbro can make of her. Whether or not we'll get most of those, I don't know at this point. Even the 3 3/4 inch line over the years, we're still lacking on several. Maybe someday I'll make a list of those. I'm kind of curious anyway exactly how many versions of Padmé they can make just from the movies alone. I think that'd be an interesting list that people would like to see. So highly recommend an action figure. I think it looks really good. Turned out much better than I originally anticipated. I'm very happy to have it. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There will always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support, and check out some of the links in the description if you haven't done so already. As always, thanks for watching.